Hey there! Today we're going to be talking about a pen that was lent to me by Tim. Tim contacted me. Tim is from the Hooligan pen company, Hooligan Pens, and he asked if I was interested in reviewing one of his pens. So I said yes. He said, "What do you like?" I said, "Well, I like an Emperor." He said, "Well, I don't know it, but I can try to recreate something like that." So there was some measuring involved, and and Tim came up with that pen. So this pen came in this sleeve, which is very cute and quite nice. Pen kimono, I think we call this, right? And then there is the actual pen. So I selected the Ebonite. I was asked what type of nib I wanted, and I picked something in titanium. Ebonite pen. It is a large pen. I will show you this pen right next to an Emperor, but I'll point the camera down so you can have a clear view without my face in the background. And that's pretty much it. So let's have a look at this pen. Let's go over the parts of the pen. Let's do a writing sample, and then let's talk about what I like and what I don't like about this pen. Okay, so here we go with this pen. I just want to show it to you next to a Pilot Parallel. So you see it's pretty much the same length, a little longer I think even, but of course much girthier. I also wanted to show you this pen right next to a Namiki Emperor because that's what it was based on. There we go. So I think the Emperor is a little girthier in the cap especially. There are some differences, under the hood as well. Let's look at that. So, a couple of things. Here we have the top of the cap, same material as the rest of the pen. It is an Ebonite, and I think it's a very lovely Ebonite. Very nice, very warm, nice dark brown. These trims, actually the accoutrements, I guess you could say, are titanium and are made in-house. So this ring is made in-house. So is the clip. Titanium, not an easy material to work with. Barrel tapers down ever so slowly and then ends up there. And then the cap unscrews, for those of you who want to know. That's one turn. It's about a little under 1 3/4, I think. As I said, big cap, and then we have the section, right? Section and nib. This is a number 8 Bock nib, which titanium in this case, which means there's also an Ebonite feed. And then the pen is fed by a cartridge converter. This nib happens to have been tuned by Mark Bacchus, the nib grinder. Section, straight, doesn't taper down really, not barrel shape, not hourglass shape, just straight. That's pretty much it. So I don't have a box to show you, so there isn't a whole lot more to show you. If you really want to, you can post it. So this is the normal size. You can see it's quite big, but I mean, again, it's Emperor sized. You can post it if you really want to, but clearly it becomes massive that way. I wouldn't necessarily post that myself. Now, just because you wanted to, because I promised you that, sorry. Under the hood, here I have both pens, so you can see they're very, very similar in size, right? So that's really neat. I'm trying to get this to hold. There we go. The Emperor has a massive nib, so that's huge nib. You also see that this is a slightly different section, but they're pretty much the same size, so that's very neat. Let's have a look at how this pen writes. So, take out some paper. Here we have the Hooligan Pen Company, Hooligan Pens. I keep forgetting. I'm sorry. I'll make sure I get it right in the title of the video. Then we have, this is a fine titanium nib, and the ink is Laban, a blue, a washable blue. Let's do some writing. A lot of feedback, but that's kind of the thing with titanium nibs, right? It's a specific type of feedback that's just always like that. I don't think anyone would write this quickly. You see the nib struggles a bit here and there with with keeping up with the ink flow. There are definitely some skips there, but again, this is incredibly fast writing. I don't think anyone would really do that. Wetness overall, of course, also a bit of a property of the ink. It's not a gusher of a nib, but then it is a fine nib. With titanium, as you know, there is some springiness, which is why a lot of people like these. Be careful, because you can spring them. Gold nibs that are even like flexi gold nibs give you a bit of feedback at some point along the lines of, I would probably stop flexing now. Titanium doesn't really do that at some point. It just bends out of shape, and that's a shame. So being careful. I could push it harder, but I won't. You can see you get a very nice amount of line variation out of this, which I've always really enjoyed about titanium nibs. If you really want to, reverse writing is possible. Oddly enough, I almost find this one smoother upside down than it is this way, which is interesting. Okay, that's the parts of the pen. Let's see what I like about it and what I don't like about it. Okay, what do I like, what do I not like about this pen? There's a couple of things I really like. Basically, custom piece, handmade. I think it's a very pretty ebonite. I really like that very dark, deep brown. Handmade trims. The clip is handmade out of titanium. That's not an easy metal to work with. There's this ring here. That's the undermount for the clip. All handmade. I like that. Threads are made by Tim on a larger scale than he's accustomed to, so that took some figuring out. So. And it worked. It works well. Pardon me. So I like all of that. I also like the overall finish on this pen, because it's beautifully made. Everything that's rounded up is rounded up beautifully. It's smooth. It's nice to the touch. These parts, for example, this ring and the cap are pretty flush. So it's really technically very proficiently made. There's also a good eye for small details, for example, in the barrel. As you can see, it's slightly tapered, so the advantage of that is the converter is really in there quite securely, won't accidentally dislodge, and indeed, in my trying out of this pen, it has not become dislodged, so that's great. These are all things I like. What do I not like about the pen? I have two major issues. One issue lies in... I'm sorry, I have to take a sip. Lies in Wendy's. This video is not sponsored. My first issue lies in this section. I like big pens, and I like to use them, and I do use them. So let me start with this pen. The section on this pen is what I call featureless. That's not meant in any negative way. All I mean is it is pretty much straight on both ends. Like it's not barrel shaped, it's not convex, not concave, it's none of those things. Straight. A section this girthy without any features is difficult to hold. It's not that I can't wrap my fingers around it. I mean, it's not that girthy, but relatively speaking, the issue I have with this is that this is uncomfortable to me. I cannot write with this for a long period of time because the pen starts to roll and rotate, because again, there is nothing for my fingers to really hold onto. Latch onto, if you want. What do I mean by that? Let me show you some alternatives. I have here a Danny Trio, which, as you can see, is not much smaller than the Hooligan pen in question. This pen has a barrel-shaped section. You see that? A barrel shape. It looks like a barrel. I can write with this all day. Very comfortable, very girthy, but very comfortable, no issues. Works fine for me. If you take the Namiki Emperor, on which this pen was based, you see that the section is very different. First of all, it's tapered, which I'm pretty sure you can see. It's tapered, and secondly, it flares out. Now that combination is very nice, because you start off with a very girthy section that's almost as girthy as the barrel is, but it tapers down to where your fingers hold it. And then you have that flared out flange, what do you call that, at the end there. Your middle finger curls up right under there. and your grip is solid, this will not rotate because your middle finger is kind of holding everything in place. I can write with this all day, no issue. There are many other pen manufacturers who do this. Here you have a Ranga pen with Urushi by Tamanuri Studios. See, same thing. Tapers down, flares out. Very comfortable to hold. Now, this is not an insurmountable thing, and this is also an issue. This might be a bit of a personal preference, but I really noticed as I was writing with this pen for longer periods of time that my hand got tired very quickly, which I don't experience with any of the equally girthy pens that I've just shown you. That's one issue. The other issue I have lies with the price. The pen was offered to me for $850 US, and that's a lot. That's a lot of money. That puts you in the range of flagship pens for different companies. Of course, those flagship pens are machine-made, often mass-produced, I'm very aware. And this is, as I said, a custom product, handmade pieces like a clip, which is awesome. This is not a standard clip, and I really like that it's unique to this pen. I like that more than the umpteenth variation of the standard clips that we all know. The parts are also made in titanium. Titanium is hard to work with, but at the end of the day, it's a big Ebonite cylinder, right? And I understand what I mentioned before, there's threads which were bigger than usual, and it takes some work, and it takes time, it takes man hours, I understand all that. But still, so I wasn't sure if I was being harsh in that regard. So what I did was this. I took the pen to the Calgary Pen Club, and there are people there who easily drop $2,000, $3,000 on a pen, right? I passed it around, and these are all people who have multiple pens, who have a lot of experience with handling pens. I asked for opinions. Everybody said it's a very beautiful pen, it's very attractively made. When I asked about what would you pay for this, the consensus was $500 Canadian. So you're looking at about 375 US. Not 850. Now, listen very carefully to what I'm saying. I am not saying this pen is worth $375 US. What I'm saying is, looking at this pen, I don't immediately see the value. It's a cartridge converter filled pen. There's a titanium nib. The titanium nib was $120. I know this because I was told. That leaves $730 for an Ebonite cartridge converter. I find that a lot. Personally, right? But not just me. Other people, pen lovers, all came to that conclusion without me telling them something. With me just asking what would you be comfortable paying. So for me, the issue with that is, and the reason I really spend some time on unpacking that argument is, this is a pen made by a single person. This is not a massive company. Your price does go up. If you have to do everything by yourself, it takes you a lot of time. I understand all that. I'm good with all that. But I wouldn't be comfortable for myself to pay $850 for this pen. And that is not a reflection on the craftsmanship, because I think I've sung its praises. It's beautifully made. It works really well, right? It looks really well. So, looks really good, I mean. No issues there. The craftsmanship is there. No issue. But very pricey, I find. That's it. A very kind thank you to Tim for lending me the pen. I appreciate it. Making it, in fact, all for me. I hope this was useful. Tim, the pen shall be coming back to you soon. And I'm glad to see you later. Bye-bye.